I think for me, being fearless at anything you decide to do. Go at it as if you already done it. And only be kind at all times to anyone. It doesn't even, homeless, it doesn't matter. The opposite say it doesn't matter. And that kindness will always surround you and come back to you. And just work. I can't say work hard because work is not hard. Just keep working at it. Whatever it is, it's like, I'll say this, one of the greatest, and you might, I'm not sure how you feel about this. One of the greatest basketball players in the world is Michael Jordan. And although he was that great, he never stopped practicing. He never stopped exercising. He even though he knew he was, whether he knew it or believed it, he knew he was going to win that day. He still went to practice. He still swam every single day. He still worked at it every single day. He still shot threes. He still did the turnaround. He still dunked every single day in practice. So keep doing that. Keep feeding whatever your talent is every single day.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Career Pulse Podcast, Season 3. My name is Hayward Crawford, your host. I am a filmmaker, financial coach, and content producer. And I'm really excited to bring you our next episode in Season 3 with the one and only Lazar Marshall Montgomery Favors. And Lazar Marshall Montgomery Favors, they are pillars in the independent Detroit film community. Just a couple reasons why you want to listen to this episode. First off, they've been in this game for about 20 years or so. Before ABFF, before Issa Rae, before a lot of other different filmmakers were hot on the scene. They've been a pillar in the Detroit filmmaking community, and we really break into a lot of discussions, especially based around their film festival, the Trinity International Film Festival, which is actually about to go, I believe, into its 13th year this year. And they're going to discuss a lot about that, breaking that down, getting started in the indie roots of production. And I'm really excited for it. To give you a little idea about Lazar, Lazar was born in Detroit. He started his entrepreneurial ventures at an early age. He's been developing businesses in the entertainment and fashion industry for 20 years. He's the co-director of the Trinity International Festival. He's responsible for event and audience development strategies. He's also the owner of Favors Concierge Services since 2013. So Mr. Favors provides entrepreneurs with valuable knowledge, resources, and step-by-step assistance leading to starting a business. Lazar is also the co-owner of RJR Custom Tees and wholesale custom graphic T-shirts as well. Today, Mr. Favors is also the CEO of Everyday I'm Okay, which he co-founded in 2015, which empowers underrepresented communities with fundraising opportunities for organizations and inspire people from all walks of life. And his wife, Marshall Favors, just a little bit about her. She's a filmmaker, a producer in Detroit, and director from Inkster, Michigan. Since 2006, Marshall has produced 6 independent feature films and has written and directed 3 short films. In 2016, she was a top 3 finalist of the American Black Film Festival Deeply Rooted in My Community video contest sponsored by McDonald's. Her passion for indie movies inspired her to co-found the Trinity International Film Festival in Detroit, currently going into its 13th year. And through the festival, Marshall works in collaboration with other filmmakers to host film screens, workshops, and networking events with industry professionals. Recently, she was one of the recipients of the 25 Most Influential Women in Detroit Awards. Marshall works purposefully to contribute to the growth of the film community in Metro Detroit. So once again, this is an interview not only for filmmakers, but I'd say it's just for business people who want to get connected to more organizations and really find the community purpose-driven side of their brand. And I think they do a great way, especially when they talk about building relationships, sponsorships, festival programming. I think it's a really good action-packed, knowledge-based interview, not just your average filmmaker interview. So help me welcome the one and only Lazar and Marshall Favors. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Career Pulse Podcast, Season 3, your vital sign for career and business from everyday go-getters like you. I'm your host, Hayward Crawford. I'm a filmmaker, financial coach, and content producer, and I'm happy to be joining me, the legendary Detroit filmmaking powerhouse, Lazar and Marshall Favors. How y'all doing today?
All is well. Thanks for that introduction.
Thank you for the
Alrighty.
introduction.
I try. I almost tongue twisted myself trying to use all these big words. How you guys doing?
Excellent.
Awesome.
How
Thank
you
you for
doing?
having
How you doing,
us.
Awesome. Great for I'm glad you guys are having me, either way. So I just want to kick things off. This has been kind of a long time coming. We've actually been trying to get you guys for a little while to come on the podcast. So what do you guys typically tell people when they ask you what you do?
I'll let you go first.
Well, producer, director,
Mm-hmm.
and the co-director of the Trinity International Film Festival. I'm an independent filmmaker,
Mm-hmm.
but we both do this festival together. This year will be our 13th year.
13. Okay.
And it's really about bringing the film community together, showcasing art, and loving what we do.
All right.
I would add to that. I would say, producer, writer, director. She's a phenomenal writer. She won't tell you that though.
Mm-hmm.
Audience creator. I'm responsible for bringing an audience together. That's the responsibility that I take on, creating an audience and building a bridge for multicultural artists to come together.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of put events together for the tribe, for Trinity, and just build on that. I'm a career. They would call me a career entrepreneur.
Okay. Yeah, most definitely, man. I see you always here doing events, making moves, building partnerships, and building bridges. I love it.
Yes.
So tell us, if you guys want to go together or separately, tell us about some of your early beginnings that led to your initial passion with filmmaking.
That was so funny because when you said that, I was like, how far do you want to go back?
Yeah, as back
But-
as you feel comfortable with.
But I mean, the passion really starts, like just very young, and I was always interested in stories and movies and film. And when I was like a kid, I used to act like I was actually like in the story, like along with the characters. I used to act along with the television. So, but at a very early age, I was really interested. Like more so in television. I wouldn't say movies at the time, but going to the movies was like my favorite pastime. So to fast forward, I didn't like take a career path where it was like, this is what I want to do. It was more or less what changed my kind of life was when I went to my very first film festival in 1999, and it was the American Black Film Festival. And at that time, the A stood for the Acapulco Black Film Festival.
Really?
Yes.
Fun fact?
So I actually flew to Mexico and was like, I'm going to this film festival only because I loved movies. Like I didn't have a whole lot of knowledge about the industry. It was really the fact that I'm like, man, I can watch movies all day. That is my kind of vacation.
Yeah, shout out to ABFF.
ABFF.
Yeah, going 20 years strong. No, about 25 years.
It's 20 plus. It's
20
like
plus.
maybe 22, I want to say.
Okay, we're getting there.
19, about 23 probably this year.
Okay.
Because I'm saying that because to come full circle. So to back up, I went to the ABFF. And my experience there, it was the first time that I was able to network and be around people who were in the industry. So I was around writers, directors, actors, producers, and I just fit in at that time as a movie lover.
Right.
And so what changed was there was a director who was from Michigan but had been living in LA for a very long time and said, I'd love to make a movie in Detroit, but I haven't been there in 17 years. I don't really, because you have to have resources, things like that. And I said, if you want to make it in Detroit, I will help.
Right.
Right. And so
Call me.
and I didn't know anything about the business, but whatever they needed to kind of help. I was like, how can I help? It wasn't like I'll help because I knew how to help. It was just I was willing. And so, but he came and he did make his. He had an audition here, and then to fast forward, I started meeting other people in the industry, and started working on sets.
Okay, and the rest is history.
And And so, but my story with the ABFF, to come full circle, was in 2016. I had been mostly producing films.
Right.
But I entered this competition, and it was like developed like a 90-second video. And so I did, and I ended up being like one of the top 3 finalists for that competition. And so to come back at the 20-year anniversary, like as a director, to come full circle with the first film festival I ever started with was like awesome. It was awesome for me. Yeah.
Lazar, what about you? What similar path?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, Hayward. I'm gonna share this with you on your show for the very first time.
Okay.
I've always from a kid loved film, but it was nobody around me that could talk film with me, or that would even understand that thinking. Right. And to be honest, I had no idea that it was a film community in Detroit like it is, right? Until I met Marshall.
Right.
And she, so, I mean, like I said, I started out early thinking about, I was always into music, producing music and developing artists then, over 20 years ago. So I took it's the same concept for me, as far as developing artists. So it's the same thing as developing filmmakers and screenwriters and things like that. I took that same energy that I used with music artists and use it with film artists. But producing has always been my strength. Like I've been producing a long time. I used to produce concerts. I don't know if you ever heard the word cabaret, but that would make me old if you know the word cabaret.
I'm familiar. Yeah, I'm familiar with the word. Yep.
Cabaret is just one of them old school things.
Yeah.
That's a BYOB party type thing.
Oh, I hear you. I mean, I don't quite hear you about it. I am familiar with where you're going.
But yeah, I mean, I fell in love with film a long time ago. I mean, me and Marshall, she actually opened it up. She took that fear away from me, not wanting to pursue this thing and have a conversation about it. Because again, like I said, I come from a family of 13 brothers and sisters, and they didn't talk like that.
Oh wow!
And nobody talked like me. Nobody wanted that. Had that passion to be and go out and get it like me. I didn't understand it, so it was like I was by myself until I found this. When I say found this woman, like literally,
or she found you. Which one was it?
I think it was
chicken and egg, bro.
We found each other.
We found each other.
When she and I didn't. When we met, and I have to share this with you. When we met, I had just started my T-shirt business 18 years ago. So, and that's how we met. It was one of those meetings. It was a 1-day meeting. I hadn't seen her for 18 years. Then it comes back full circle. I saw her receiving an award from some group of Actors Society, I think it was. The Actors Society. So we reconnected. Long story short, I became part of the festival. Okay. And I saw some things that I could feel. So I didn't really have to ask. I just filled in those blanks.
Went in there and just did what felt right.
Yeah, what felt right. That's right. Just knew what I could bring to it. I didn't try to do what I couldn't do. I knew I did exactly what I knew I could do. And that's just filling these blanks.
And you just innovated it every year to what Trinity is today.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So.
Okay. Awesome.
I have to say this. Okay. I'm not going to say what you think I'm going to say, but I have to say this.
Yeah.
So with the festival, it was really like a passion project, and I started it with Rocky and Janaea Black, who were 2 filmmakers.
Yeah, you told me about them. They're on the list. I definitely want to interview them at some point this year. I'll reach out to them. Yeah.
So it was really out of our passion for creating something for filmmakers like in Detroit, and every year was our last year. It was not something that we thought was going to have like longevity to it. When we first started, we said, let's do it for 3 years and see where we can take it in 3 years.
Okay.
And because we were filmmakers, when the Carr Center adopted us, because we had the festival at the Carr Center for many years.
Yep, I remember that.
And so what happened was Rocky and Janaea were making a film. They were deep into like making a film, and the Carr Center was like, we have to bring the festival like back. And so I was like, yeah, but like I don't have any help or support like now too. And so they said, we'll help where we can, but every year was a lot. There wasn't like funding or anything like that.
Yeah, every year was just kind of like a touch and go. Okay, are we going to be back or
right? And so some fantastic things like started happening, and we got the resources to be able to make it happen. So when I met Lazar, it was the 10th year,
Yes,
Wow.
it was.
and I was like 10 and out. That's a great year to end on. 10, let's. It was a great run. And so that's when he came on board. He was like a part of it for the first time. And he was like, you can't stop doing this. We can't stop doing this. And he was like, I'm in this. I'm a part of this. This is before we were married. So
Okay.
he's like, I'm a part of this now, and I'm going to figure out a way to help you make this sustainable. And that's it's been like really kind of history from there. So now we don't have any ambition to not do it. And so now we really want to see where we can take it.
Great. We're covering a lot of ground here. I love it. Now, educate us a little bit. I know, Marshall, you recently won an award, the 25 most influential women in Detroit. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? I'm definitely.
Well, I wasn't. I can't remember what year that was. It was probably maybe 4 years ago.
Okay.
Probably. But
was that through Hour or what sort of which company was that through, or like a magazine or?
The Crane.
No, it was actually through it was actually through an organization in Detroit, the Women's Network, and it was I was alongside a lot of other women in Detroit, so it says 25. Also, there were 25 of us as well too. But just honored for doing what we're passionate about with the city of Detroit in my area. Just happened to be with helping to build the film community.
Okay.
It's so funny because I wasn't expecting you to ask my
That's
question.
why I'm looking.
It was in the bio. So
I'm looking at it like, he got you? What's going on?
Right.
No, he did.
I read it. I see the award at home. What's the problem?
I
Go.
know, because it's so hard for me to like talk about myself
Yes,
in
it
that
is.
kind of
Right.
way.
Or maybe you could
Like when
tell
people,
us about
when people like honor me for stuff, like I'm always shocked.
She
like
dope,
She's too
man.
humble, Lazar.
Yeah,
Why
she's
don't you step
dope.
in
And I just
tell
go
a little
straight to
about
it.
it.
Cut that out. You that deal. And I like when sometimes she'll get in her Jay-Z. And what that means is, and what I mean by that is sometimes she'll let that go. She'll put that nice shy person to the back and come out flowing like water. And people be like, "Ooh, wow!" And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." But not arrogantly. It's just because it's all truth. It's the truth. It's something they can go and like, "Oh yeah, she did do that." It's absolute
But
truth.
you know when that comes out.
Yeah.
You know when that comes out.
Yeah, but
when people like underestimate and undervalue and kind of devalue.
and she turned
what
her
it is
hat
that
to the
we
back on that. Would
do.
put on one of my hats and be like, "What? What'd you say?"
Right.
But I tell her like, you have to remember that this is you're a woman in this world, and you're excellent at what you do. And I've always told her, I said, and I say this to her all the time, because of where we're headed, the levels on the level we're headed to, and as we get there, you got to be a wolf.
Right.
You be the wife at home, right? You got to be a wolf. You got to understand that you rolling with a bunch of wolf pack. You rolling with a wolf pack. So I'll never leave. I come with a ton of wolves.
Right.
Got
that dog.
I come with a ton of wolves, and it's not exaggeration. It's just true. Right. But I want her to get the respect and the value that she deserves, because she's been doing this thing a long time in Detroit, and she does it honestly. You can bank on it. If she says she's going to do something, she's going to do that.
Yeah.
She's that one that's going. She's not going to say, "Oh well, I forgot." No, she's not going to do that. She's not going to do that. She's going to follow through with everything she says.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So as we move on, what do you do to keep your finger on the pulse of your industry? What I mean by that, what do you guys do, with the Everything Okay brand, the Trinity Film Festival? It seems like you guys are always incorporating different elements, because you got the fashion line. How do you keep innovating your brand and all that stuff?
I think everything we do fall and live together. Okay. Fashion, film, and music. At some point, they connect. Mm-hmm. In fact, at more than one point, they connect. You need fashion, which is our clothes, which are things that you need for movies, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing with they all complement each other. And I think just just making those connections and building relationships with specifically designers, with taking a designer, bringing that designer to a filmmaker, taking them a producer that to produce music, or an artist that does music, bringing them all in the same, putting them on the same stove, basically,
right?
You know, until it's time to turn the fire on underneath them. Like you need one here, all of that thing. So I think that is more my job, yes, because we have, you know, I just think that having all those things on the stove and just simmering, because at some point you'll use them all together.
Okay.
If I can sum that up.
Well, it definitely makes sense. I mean, you learn to each his own. Just how, like, you know, there's stuff from the music and fashion industry you've applied toward film. Yeah. You know, same thing as part of why with this podcast. I interview people from different industries, and I learned so much. A lot of parallel, you know, transferable lessons. So that's awesome. So the 3 pillars right there. Yeah.
It's not. And I'll say this. I enjoy all 3 of these things. Mm-hmm. You know, and how we keep our finger on the industry of film specifically is we watch hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of movies. Yeah. We may sit and watch, and when we're watching the movie, we're not watching the movie. Like it's hardly ever we enjoy a movie as the movie. Right. We're dissecting the movie. You gotta study. We're studying. Why did they do that? We're studying the lights. All this is unconscious, right? You know. Again, she helped me wake up all these things that I suppressed as a young person because nobody was around in film or enjoyed it that way. You know, you know, even though her and my daughter, they like to talk during films, but that's cool. You know?
Don't go down that hallway.
Right. We done seen this 100 times, and you gonna still say that right there.
Yeah, I got some relatives that they'll ruin a movie, boy.
But with her, she can watch a movie without the volume and tell you everything about that movie. Like I've never seen it. I can't do that yet. I don't even think I will ever be able to.
I keep telling myself I need to do that just to like artistically challenge. Yeah. You know.
Or she can hear the movie and be in a whole nother room and tell me what's going on in that movie and almost tell me if the lighting is right. Like you're not even in the room, but she's right. I'm like I'll try to adjust some colors on the TV. Like you don't know what you're talking about, but she's absolutely right. Like that's how great that's how much she's in the film. And I'll also share this. I think one of the reasons she said she used to be in the swing when she was a baby, and all she did was watch movies. My mother I think that's when it started.
My mother loves to tell the story.
Yeah, so she was be swinging watching the movie.
My mother used to sit me in front of the television, and she said she could clean the whole house, and I would just be mesmerized by the television.
Yeah. Kept it busy. Yeah. I love it. So now, how important do you guys feel, you know, obviously as filmmakers, entrepreneurs, every day is never the same. We got to get up, do what we got to do, get things done. How important would you say is the area of time management? And do you have like maybe any hacks or tips you could share with our listeners? How you guys stay on top of your time, do what you got to do, and anything you want to share with us?
We have to keep a calendar. We absolutely have to keep a calendar. Okay. We keep this just like a daily calendar at home, but we talk about our month, our quarter, our year, and we immediately put things down, like as they come up, and he keeps us balanced in terms of taking care of ourselves, because even like you mentioned, one of the brands, especially like with the Everyday I'm Okay, he lives and breathes that. Like, we with meditating and eating healthy. I'm saying on his end. I'm trying to get. I'm still trying to get there. Like I had fried chicken before we came, but
and I had a salad,
and he had a salad, right?
I'm guilty too.
But he truly, because a lot he'll remind me like a lot that he said we have to keep our energy up and we have to. He said we have a lot to do, because sometimes I'll come in and I'm just like, man, I'm tired, right? Like he said, but we have to get our energy up. So remember to sleep. Remember to keep your schedule, and it's hectic and busy, but to take care of ourselves so that we can keep the pace that we're on.
And I think another key element is we laugh every day.
That's true.
She makes sure before we go to bed, we're gonna watch something hilarious, whatever it is. It could be something we watched before, or she'll tell me a story that I thought was a movie and she had just made it up right there, and it'd be hilarious. So it's important to laugh because I think laughter for us, for what we do and the things that we do, we can laugh and it's almost like reprogram, like reset. So we get reset. We reset off of that. We reset off of, like she said, meditation. Even our daughter, our household is full of that. That's what it is. Like, we have these affirmations. We have an affirmation calendar.
Okay.
Oh, that's true.
That we say out loud every single day.
That's
Yeah.
every
Single day.
Love it. I love it.
One of us says that calendar every morning. One of us. Even if we miss the morning, we'll say it in the afternoon. If we miss sharing it, we'll take a picture of it and send it to each other.
I was curious. Do you mind sharing with some of our listeners what one of those affirmations? I'm all about personal development. If you
got one?
If you want to share one, you're comfortable with. No biggie.
I'm thinking. I don't know if I know them like
Verbatim,
verbatim,
Or just something
but,
like some version of it.
Come on.
Keep in mind that the most important thing in life is love.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Or love can only love. Things like that. Something about the wife is the boss or something.
He's making that one up. I like it. I like it.
I
We'll
thought
keep it.
I was gonna hear a little every
We'll
day
keep
I'm
it.
okay in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then you couple that with what I do, and I say that Monday is magnificent. Like I don't have a bad Monday. I don't even know what that's like. And that was
But you can hit them with the whole
Monday is magnificent.
yes, because our daughter knows it verbatim.
gotta
She'll
do it.
say,
You got a beat for me?
You got
Got a beat?
I'm not. That's
Beat
not
box,
right.
honey.
He is so kidding right now. All the listeners
And
will turn away.
Tuesday I'm terrific. Wednesday I'm wonderful.
Okay.
Thursday I'm tremendous. Friday I'm fantastic. Saturday I'm stupendous. Sunday I'm superb. So
And my happiness is endless.
and my happiness is endless. Yeah, thank you.
Uh-huh.
So I'm repetitive about that until it sinks, and it has sunk, and it's in our blood. It's in our DNA right now.
And even with our daughters, like she's 7, we have like a playlist also. Like we have music is a
Couple that
part
with
of
the
our
music.
lives. Yeah. And she'll even like get up and she was like, we'll play
Whatever the
just-
song is for that day or that week or that month.
and something positive.
Yes,
It's
always,
like it's
always.
something uplifting, like something positive. And some of them are instrumental also.
Yeah.
They just
Oh,
have
okay.
this vibe
Yeah.
that
Like right now, I got to give a shout out to because we've been listening to this for the last 4 weeks. Is Damon Escobar and Black Violin. She introduced me to this group called Black Violin. Amazing.
Damon Escobar.
yes.
Yeah, Damien Escobar.
And Black Violin.
And the Black Violin.
Yeah, it's a group, two brothers.
Okay, I have to check them out. Okay. All right, now quick lightning round. Favorite book or podcast or TV show,
Favorite podcast?
or just say favorite podcast. Yeah, we'll go that first.
Go ahead.
If you listen to them.
Yours. Is this
There it is.
Oh,
There it
thank
is. All
you.
right.
Is
Favorite
this-
Thank you.
podcast.
Oh,
What
great.
else you got?
Is this
Favorite book?
Favorite film. Well, favorite book next. We do favorite book next.
Favorite book? Oh man. Oh, jeez. I can't. It's on too far. I can't even think. You got me with that. I'll come back to that one here.
The Alchemist? I would say.
The Alchemist. I've been getting that a lot, and I need to read that one. Okay.
How to Grow Rich is mine.
Okay.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes.
My goodness.
Huh? What is that?
And what were we gonna ask next?
Oh, I'd say I know this is a tough one, but you can give me a genre. I could name a genre.
Movie.
Favorite film. Yeah.
Movie. The
Movie.
Godfather.
Godfather. Okay.
One.
Marshall.
I'm like
It's
anything Ava DuVernay, Queen Ava.
Queen Ava.
Anything for me is like anything Ava DuVernay.
Okay.
Now, don't get it wrong. I do enjoy the Black Panther. That is one of the greatest movies ever made.
Oh man, they done ushered in a whole new level of black filmmakers.
Come on, man.
That's true.
Absolutely.
They watched it like I want to be a filmmaker, mom.
Yes, indeed.
Watching
yes,
that.
indeed.
Floodgates are open. Any of you guys watching any TV? Any good TV show you could recommend?
The last. Well, she watched something the other night. I don't know.
Well,
what
but the series, tell them because sometimes we don't
watch series.
We watch a
We'll-
lot
and
of
we'll watch it all at once.
yeah
Okay.
we'll watch a whole entire because sometimes when we get a break and like that's how we unwind, we'll find a series and watch like the whole thing because we'll never know when we have that kind of time again.
Yeah.
But one of our favorites, you got to say it.
The Get Down.
The Get Down.
The Get Down.
The
Oh,
Get
right.
Down.
Heard about
Season
that
1 and 2. I'm so upset they took that off.
Now, was
Yes.
that about? Was it like about roller skating?
About
Or was it
hip-hop.
drug- Oh, hip hop.
About hip hop, yeah.
That had to do with the roller rink and the hip hop thing, or
Was it Roller again?
I think I'm confused now with Roll Bounce.
Roll
Yeah,
Bounce,
yeah,
yeah,
that
this-
is a movie.
That's a
That
movie.
is
My
not.
bad. But
This was,
Get
a, this
Down.
was a TV series
Yeah.
Okay.
Netflix.
Netflix.
on Netflix, and
We like Luke Cage too. We watched. I think
Yeah.
we went the ham on Luke Cage. A couple other ones. But those two stand out. The Get Down was really done well.
it was done very
Shot
well.
well. I mean, it took you back to the 80s, late 70s, and it was done well, like amazingly well.
I think because of the way they intertwined the stories,
Yeah.
like that, it was like the early beginnings when disco was kind of
Fading into hip hop. It was still disco and hip hop, and then the DJ was being introduced, Kool Herc, and then the politics around living in the ghetto, living in the projects, all those politics, and the kids growing up and living in that and trying to become something that no one had ever heard of at the time.
Right.
You know, nobody had ever been a rapper at that time, so it puts you in.
This
and
was
then
mid late 70s about.
yeah. And then it was like intertwining, like you said, with disco and young men trying to find themselves, not sure of themselves. It was heavy. It was real heavy. It was done very well. Very
Okay,
well.
I'll have to check that out. I've definitely heard of it. But yeah, good stuff. So what would you say? What does a day in the life of Lazar and Marshall look like from the time you guys get up to when you go to bed? Is any day the same, or is it just like
The morning
What do we
started
do
out
next?
the same. The morning started out like we said with the music, with me getting everybody ready. I'm first. I got Marshall is Turtle, Riley is Flash, and I mean Flash from Cinetopia, Flash,
who is not fast
who
at
is
all.
not fast at all. So I get them ready. We hit the get in the car and we ride to a playlist of, it's the same. That part is the same. Now once we go to our individual spaces, I think I'm working all day. She's mostly she's working all day too, just something different. Like because we have a space called the Maker City Hub. I think you were there, right?
Yeah, I think I've been.
Yeah. So and that's a new venture. It's for
is that
artists.
the one in the Fisher Building?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the Artist Hub. So that's where I kind of blend all my work. So.
And
Yeah.
I always say when we get off our 9 to 5, we start our 5 to 9.
Yeah, because
There you go.
I'm doing something related. We're doing something related to film, fashion, and music every day.
Every day. That's
Every
amazing.
single day, it's something related to that. Even if it's building a new relationship or reaching out to actor, sponsor, something. There's something related to that every single day.
Awesome.
And some days are easier than the next, but no day is hard for me. So I don't really look at it like that.
Okay.
There's no difficulty in it.
Yep. Every day, every morning, you reset. Yep.
And I got to say this too. Throughout that day, me and her may battle on the music, send each other music.
Oh, I thought you were about to
I'm
say
the
rap
I'm the
battle.
champ right
we
now.
about to
I'm the
cipher.
champ right now.
Okay.
I'm the champ right
You
now.
see my face.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm the champ right
I'm
now.
getting a little.
You see
I'm
my
the
face.
champ
I'm getting
right
some
now.
type
Come
of
on,
way.
come
No,
on.
some type of way.
And I hit you with the Damien Escobar. You ain't responded. I got you. That's it.
He's declaring himself.
Is that
the
right?
champ.
Would you come back?
He's
Oh,
a self-proclaimed champ.
Okay. Well, we'll leave it at that. So,
so and that's how we keep our. That's how we. Keep each other going throughout the day.
okay. And also, tell us a little bit about the Fearless Tribe. I see we have a guest here with us, Nadia, that helped you.
Nadia Stringer in the place to
Nadia
be.
Stringer, how you
The
doing?
fearless
I'm good.
tribe of
Fearless.
fanatic
Yes.
filmmakers.
That's right.
So tell us
Fearless,
about
fearless.
this. How you doing, Nadia?
How you guys doing? Hey, world.
Right.
Hey.
It's been an honor meeting Lazar and Marshall. They've been a blessing, really. Moving from Atlanta to Detroit.
Okay.
Immediately, it was just a connection there, and we've done some great things already since I've been here. For the short time I've been here, and it's an honor to be a part of the Fearless Tribe of filmmakers, and we're gonna definitely make some history.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, tell us. I mean, what does that mean to you, Fearless Tribe, a fanatic filmmaker? What's the first thing that comes to mind that made you come up with that title?
Well.
I'll say what it means to me.
Okay.
What it means to me is limitless. There's no limit to what we can do when we all put our minds together.
Okay.
dope.
Awesome.
Go ahead, honey.
No, and that's true. It's
Yeah.
because a lot of people do ask us, and and it's not a group, it's not an organization. Because people say, well, how can I join? And it's really a platform and an energy.
It's a movement.
It
too.
really is.
Okay.
We saw that there was so many great things happening around specifically independent in the independent film community in Detroit, and we wanted to highlight that. We wanted to, because someone can make a film. We know lots of filmmakers that make films. They have their premieres. And they're one-offs in a sense that this person made a movie over here, this made a movie over there. But if you say, because this really happened last year, that last year we went to, I'm going to just say 26 independent film screenings, like premieres last year, feature films last year, and like 26 feature films that came out of African American feature films that came out of Detroit last year. You put all that together, now that's a story, and that's it's not just a one-off. It's actually showing that there's a film community here. So it's really a platform and an energy to show what the film community in Detroit is doing. And
it's the word fearless. Like there's no fear in that. You can create whatever it is you can create. The road has been paved for us already. Like we've seen it. We see it happen in these major films, as I spoke of earlier, Black Panther, the other Ava DuVernay film. All those films has paved the way. But these filmmakers have always been here. They've always had this creative skill. But it's like what I always say. When you put enough people in the room, it get hot, right?
Right.
And what happens what does the heat do when it get hot? It just rises. Yep. So if you can collectively build something together and do something together, that's when you're doing something. In my opinion, it's Marshall came up with the name though. She came. Okay. It was when I first heard. I was like,
yeah, I mean team effort, but yeah, definitely. There's the
and this was when she was in her Jay-Z.
There you go.
She was in her, like,
I ain't a businessman. I'm a businessman. Come on now.
She had her whole black on, had one of my hats on. Yes. I was like, okay, let me elaborate on that with you. What you need me to do with this? So and I think again, as she said, it's the energy, and we want people to understand that. Be a part of that energy. Yeah. It will move. It will move. So.
Okay. Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit about some of your mentors, maybe personal, professional, living or no longer with us, and why. Start with you, Marshall.
Mentors just in life?
Yeah, just mentor. I remember we had a good talks about Ava, obviously. Other people in the industry, maybe someone you learned different skills from, maybe, who are just the different people you may look up to or, aspire to be.
Well, I think in my personal life, it was my grandmother. Like in my, just in terms of, like the spirit that she had and how she treated one another, how she treated other people, and with with grace and kindness and respect. And so when you kind of translate that into the film industry, this is like a cutthroat business. It can be like at times, and like courtesies like that, like sometimes, working early on different sets. It's like when you're working with people, like sometimes in this business, sometimes it can get a little cutthroat. And so, having a person in my life that taught me, how to treat people has served me well, I think, like in this business. But I would say one of the best experiences that I had was the time when I did win the competition was a finalist for the APFF. Yeah. Part of that experience was having a lunch and being mentored by Malcolm Lee, who did like The Best Man, and it was like a
brother. When he do Undercover Brother, he did Undercover Brother.
Yeah. Did he do Undercover Brother?
Oh, classic.
So being able, and it was like a lunch. It was like the three other filmmakers and myself too. But just hearing about his earlier days and getting started, and how much conviction and passion they had for the industry was definitely one of an experience I'll never forget.
Okay, I'm gonna need a cell number if you still got it. just DM me that on the low. And Lazar, what about you?
Oh, I think first of all, my wife for sure, 100%, and I'll explain that in a few. I also would like to say her grandmother and my birthday is the same day, 9/29, which was I don't even think that's not even ironic to me. A friend of mine, good friend of mine, his name is Everett Finley. He's a global strategist. He's one of my mentors. My older brother, his name is Raymond Smith. He's amazing with he's just an amazing organizer as far as paperwork and figuring things out. He's kind of like a politician. I'm not, but I take some of that lesson and that learning that he, just watching him work. I've seen him work a room, full of politicians, and he's not.
And what's his name?
Raymond Smith.
Raymond. He's like a businessman, politician.
Yeah. Okay. He's a businessman, not a politician. He's a businessman. And my little brother, Robert Smith, sometimes I reach out to him and he says the right things at the right time. So I pick up knowledge from a lot of different men, a lot of people. A lot of older men also. Because they have a lot of knowledge. And I think my mother, of course, and I think that's my entrepreneur business come in. She's never worked for anybody.
Okay.
And let me rephrase that. She used to work for Elias Brothers, the one on Jefferson. When she was 22, but that was it, right?
Okay.
So I think, and I say my wife because I'm aggressive. I'm an aggressive business person.
Okay.
The lighter side of her helps me smooth out my aggression, my aggressiveness, not my aggression, my aggressiveness.
Or channel it.
It channels it to where I'll operate a certain way. I'm still me. I still operate my way, but because she's in here in my head, I know I'll smooth it out. I still get my point across.
Yeah.
I still get the job done.
Okay.
But I don't need to do it with the whole pack.
Right.
I'll say. I'm just keeping it honest.
With the full on wolf mode.
Yeah, I don't. Some certain things I can do a certain way, and a lot of things when I'm in the room conducting business with certain people, she don't have to be in the room.
How about you, Nadia?
I just take her with me.
Yeah. Nadia, any mentor?
Personally, I would say my mom definitely. My mom's an entrepreneur. She actually is from Guyana in South America, moved to the United States, and she made a name for herself. She opened her first hair salon on Flatbush Ave in Brooklyn, New York. And
Shout
the first year, Brooklyn. Yeah, that's where I was born to. But first year she made $500,000 as a cosmetologist. So.
What?
Big shoes to fill, she was a young woman when she did that, very successful, and that was definitely something to look up to. And film-wise, I'd say Kenneth Whittingham. Is actually my uncle. He's a television director in Hollywood. I had the opportunity of actually shadowing him at Paramount Studios. That was a wonderful experience. Yeah. So Kenneth Whittingham, he's won multiple NAACP award, Image Awards. He's worked on Everybody Hates Chris. It's a really long list. I can go on and on. I think right now he's working on Desperate Housewives and Blackish. So definitely love. Shout out to Kenneth Whittingham.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out. Absolutely.
All right.
Shout out. We got to contact Kenneth for this festival.
Sounds like somebody who needs to be at the Trinity International Film Festival 2019.
Send us your requirements, Ken.
Right. I'll let you guys follow up on that. So, what do you guys do to grow spiritually, mentally, health-wise on a daily basis? What's one thing you feel like you do to grow every day? Starting with you, Marshall.
Well, it's like we had said earlier, the meditation.
Meditation.
Pretty much almost every
day.
That's every day.
That's
but pretty much like almost every night. I think even our 7-year-old is like going to sleep like, "Mommy, will you put on the meditation music?"
Yeah. Seriously, she's serious. Nice. Like she'll come out the room like, I need one of y'all to turn the music on for me. I need one of your phones. So. But that's what we do, and I'm not the and I'll say this, I'm tomatoes, spinach, and olives every day,
Okay.
And I'm saying that to say I don't require cooking like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
our days are long. You
Right.
know, I'm like, just let me get that. That's good. That's good, honey. Don't. She likes to force everything. Like, I'm gonna cook all it. No, don't do that. Just give me that so we can, because I know what the day is like. We're always constantly thinking about the next day.
Okay.
Every day we think about the next day and plan for the next day. And then we'll look at, like she said, we have a calendar, and every day is filled up with something.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's just, again, relaxing, laughing, and meditating.
Okay. And Nadia, what about you? What's one thing you do to grow on a daily basis?
Something
like
write.
right. Okay.
I try to write every day. Just anything really, even if it's just creating my or adjusting my schedule. You know, and constantly thinking of new ideas. I'm adamant about one day inventing something, so I channel that every day.
Got a future inventor
Yeah.
in our midst. Okay. Looking forward.
Oh, and of course, how could I forget scripture? Scripture is important. I look at it as poetry and words of encouragement. So definitely, shout out to God.
Yep, I'm definitely a big fan of the daily devotionals.
Yeah.
That gets me through. They get you through a certain part of the day.
Yeah.
I kind of have a little crash around early mid afternoon, so you gotta a little pick me up. I'm with you on that. Now, do you guys ever find yourself, and this could be like a general question for all three of you guys, do you ever find yourself struggling, comparing yourself to other people's success, and how have you maybe overcome that? Or
I'll say,
yeah.
what I will say is, I don't think about another man's opinion of himself. Another man's opinion of himself is his, and I'll feed that. If you say you're the greatest, you're the greatest. I'm going to feed that. I don't need a person to tell me how great I am. I remind myself every day. I don't do it arrogantly. I don't say I'm the this guy. I just remind myself mentally, like spiritually and mentally, I know what I'm capable of doing. I know that the universe is in my favor. Not just because my last name is Favors,
Right.
but the universe is in my favor because what I do is I work at what and where and who I want to be every day. And to reach that, I know I must include energies and people around me that's in my circle that's going to raise my vibration for that. So that's all I focus on. I don't compare myself to anybody. I mean, I've been in the T-shirt game 21 years. Somebody asked me that. How do you develop T-shirts for other people and you in the T-shirt game? Well, I don't. There is no competition. I don't consider anything a competition. If I can help you do what it is you're doing, then that's it. You know, I don't think about competition or even compare myself to anybody.
Okay.
I do have a reference point.
Right.
You know, when I write, you know, that's Jay-Z. So, you know, I've mentioned that 100 times.
there
That's
you
my
go.
reference point. So, you know.
Cool. Any
That's
other
it.
thoughts on that?
And I think, you know, that comes with growth and maturity and in your life journey, because when you first asked the question, like immediately I said to myself, you know, like, no, I don't, but I can't say that was always true
Right.
in my earlier years in my life, because, you know, and I think about young people today, there's like so many pressures and things like that and these outside influences, but as you go throughout your life and your journey and you really start to acknowledge and accept your own qualities like that you have and what you have to offer and start to value those things and concentrate and fully focus on what it is, your talents, your skill sets, what it is that's uniquely, authentically you, that no one else, you know, like has to offer in this world. And you value that and you feed that energy and you know what you know that you know that that what you have, like I said, no one else has, and you focus on those and feed that type of energy, then, you know, you just have this other awareness that, you know, you truly don't have any like other competition. Like that thinking is not a part of your life anymore.
Okay.
So it's definitely not a part of my life.
Awesome. And Nadia?
I say comparison is the thief of life. And you know, just be uniquely you, and I gravitate to that mentality. It's important to love yourself. I mean, before you can love someone else, you have to love yourself. And if you start comparing yourself to other people, that's just, you know, asking for, you know, negative energy to just come in your realm. And you just have to focus on yourself, focus on your goals, and just don't compare yourself. There's no one else out there like you, literally. Your fingerprint, your DNA, your experience. So be uniquely you.
Awesome. Be uniquely you. Love it. I feel a tagline coming on there. All right. And I wanted to kind of break down this question. What were some of your biggest setbacks and failures? And I would like to kind of tailor this a bit, Lazar and Marshall, because there's not a whole lot of people from Michigan that are really, you know, doing a festival. I would say like this is unique as Trinity. So I'd like to kind of see, like, kind of break down a bit. Maybe what were some of your biggest mistakes first starting out doing a festival, and what were some lessons you took away from it and things you learned along the way? 'Cause I'm sure a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of filmmakers out there. Maybe some people interested in learn more about the business side of running a festival, you know. And like, so what would you say some of your lessons you learned, some mistakes you made along the way?
You know, as you were, as you were saying them, I was counting them down. I was like, okay, so which one do I want to start with?
Yeah,
right.
It's all about learning. What we can learn from,
it is, and I think early on, and I'm just gonna make 2 points, because like I said, I have a laundry list, but this show is an hour, so and I will start off by saying, like, at first, when you talked about like the whole comparison thing, you're like, well, what does the festival look like? And it has to look like that, right? And a lot of them who have been around for years were very, very large. And I think in our third year, you know, like we thought we have to have multiple venues. Like that's part of, you go to other festivals and there's multiple venues that people have. And that, I remember that one year we tried that, and we were trying to be too big, too fast. You know, like we overestimated like what we were going to do like that. Like year, and what we really did was like split our audience. So instead of packing out, like, you know, and having full confidence that we could pack out a theater, we had a few people here and a few people there, and they were spread out and they're all over the place. And so having it more concentrated, and then so that was one thing, like really growing like the festival and saying and really looking at like who is our audience and focusing on that and what do we have to offer. And so that segues into
I think we're good.
That segues into another aspect of it, because I remember one year when like Google Hangout was like the thing, and we were like, I was like, you know what would be great? Let's do like a global Google Hangout, because this is an international festival, right? And I said, so we put it out, and we had to figure out a time where it wasn't like 3 o'clock in the morning for China, but it was okay, you know, so trying to get some kind of alignment, and we did it, and it was like 12 filmmakers from around the world that was like on this call, and I was like, this is fantastic, you know. And so the filmmakers were you know, talking to one another, and we were about to get off the call, and this one filmmaker was like, this is really great, I'm glad you had this call, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. And I was like, what? I was like, in 2 weeks? And I was like, you're coming? And they're like, yes, we're coming. I'm like, from China? They're like, yes, we'll be there. Wow. And I was like, what? And so
I think you forgot about the international and Trinity.
Well, because it was the first year. Now, other people from other states would come.
Right.
Like we had people from New York and our neighboring sister, like Chicago and Indiana and LA also. Like, so people from the United States would come. But it was the first year, that year, where people traveled internationally, like be at the festival. And so our first was like great, and then I panicked because I'm thinking, what do they think their experience is going to be like? Because if you think United States, you might think like some of the larger festivals.
So were they fluent in English, or was it?
They were.
Chinese? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. They were fluent in English.
Chinese filmmakers. Okay, cool.
And so, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what do they think the experience is like? Do they think lights, camera actions, like big, huge red carpet, like you see at some of these larger festivals?
Right.
So I started sending them photos of, you know, the actual photos of the venues that I had, the size. I wanted to give them enough information about the festival so they knew what their, they had to give them some kind of expectation, right? And so when they came, I still say to this day, one of the best compliments we've ever received is, I had a great time at your festival, and I'll see you next year. Because for them, I didn't have to worry about being the largest film festival in the world, because this was their U.S. debut, and it wasn't the largest film festival like in the world, but their film got accepted to this festival, and this was their red carpet moment at the festival. And I think it was because of that year that we realized that our part of our uniqueness was about really catering to the filmmakers. Like sometimes you will get accepted in a festival and you're just another film in the festival because of the numbers that you have. But people were really like surprised at the connectivity, the way we try to really connect filmmakers to one another. And also they appreciated the fact that we reached out to like the Chinese community, like in Metropolitan Detroit, and said, hey, this film is going to be here. Will you get your organizations to come and support it? So to come from another country and make sure, that they had an audience for the film as well, too. And to give them a platform also, they did like a media interview as well, just one. But the fact that they had the opportunity to do that, and so we were like, we need to do more of that, really make the film festival focus in on the filmmaker. And so that became like part of our brand and part of our values of what we deem like important like for the festival. And so in terms of like success and really finding our identity, that's what came like out of that. That was one of the things that came out of that.
Wow, that really summed it up.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
That was, I mean,
Great
just
lesson.
all I got is as far as the sponsorship side, it's that is the work. Like I reach out to 300 different people for sponsorships, and you get none. Like thinking like well, film festival, I'm called BET, they gonna do it, or I'm gonna call Aspire, they gonna do it. That's not necessarily true. I had to learn. Okay, like what do I do? You don't go too high, and you don't go too low. What I mean by low, you don't go to your family members.
All right,
that's number one, and you don't go up to the millions and millions if you hadn't done it yet. So you stick in wherever your network is, whatever your network is, you stick in between there. You move around in there, and you'll come across someone who's interested. So that was kind of my learning. It's like, okay, how do I finagle getting these things so we can be sustainable? How do I do this? So I had to sit back and just use my resources and use my network slowly. Though it was a process. It's like once I get the one to commit, then I know I can get two, then I can get three, then I can continuously get them on board. So that was the work for me, just understanding that it's not simply making a phone call and they say, yeah, we'll come down because you have a festival. It's not that simple. It's very hard. It's extremely hard to get people with plenty money to say, yeah, I'll sponsor that.
Right.
If you don't have a relationship with them. So it's like now what I do strategically now is build the relationship first. I don't ask for anything.
Yeah.
I'll build that relationship year or two, and I know I got you because we have a relationship, because I already introduced you to what we do without asking you for anything, and you love what we do because now you're there. You're like, oh wow, this is great, right? This is great.
Nuggets.
Then the conversations start happening, and then I invite you to other parties. Then you're engulfed in our energy, and I know you're not going anywhere. And that's how I plan it out. I just take my time now.
Beautiful. Beautiful lesson.
Is that our time or
no? We keep going.
We can keep going.
Yeah. Anything to add?
I wanted
This is
to.
great stuff.
Because I don't get a chance to tell this part of the story.
We could dig deep
often, because even though, like I said, every year was like kind of like the last year, because we didn't know where the funding or the resources were coming from to do the show. I mean, to do the festival, but some phenomenal things have happened. Like. Over the years. So after like the 10th year, when I was looking back, because they weren't like strategic. They didn't happen like strategically.
Let's say organically.
It was very organic. It was very organic.
There we
but
go.
It was some phenomenal things that happened that like that I started to share, right? And I can't remember from year to year what happened. But for instance, one year there was a representative, because you had mentioned BET. So there was a representative that came to the festival who was the program manager for BET at that time. He's with another network now. Okay. And so he said, well, what I'll do is the winner from the short film competition will air nationally on BET. And I was like, wow, BETJ. Yeah. And it was like, I was like, wow, that was fantastic. And another year, a friend of ours was in town, and he's in the industry, so he knows a lot of people. He says, isn't your festival this week? I was like, yeah. He said, well, I have some friends who are producers, and they're producers on Saturday Night Live, and wanted to know if they could stop by the festival. I was like, yeah. And you think they would do a Q&A for us, with our audience? And like that happened, and then one year, but there was a nationally syndicated, he still is like a radio host, Russ Parr. He had a film that he did, Parr, yep. Like his first film that he did and he put out. He allowed us to showcase his film.
Wow!
Like at the festival, and then came to the festival, came to the premiere, and then with TV20, the president at the time of TV20. He came because a friend invited him, and he said, wow, I really enjoyed the festival. This was great, and I'd like to offer you a TV show on our network. And I was like, wait, what? And so for 3 years, we had a show called Detroit Short Takes.
Okay.
And it highlighted Detroit filmmakers. So fast forward today with Lazara like coming on board, we were able to do a screening for HBO's I Am Evidence.
Okay.
And we also
this was all
this
you.
Was
all you. Greenlee, that was all you.
So we had an experience
Take
where
some credit. Yeah.
Deborah Joy Winans allowed us to do like a viewing party.
Oh, of the Winans family?
Yes, of the Winans family. We did the finale of Greenleaf.
Yeah.
Like
and
not last year. It was the year before.
2017. And that was, again, and some of those things are, again, her Jay-Z freestyles is like, that was, Deborah Joy Winans walked into the space.
Wow.
Where we were
having
this festival. We were setting up for something. And they just made a connection, It was one of those things that just came together. Same thing with the I Am Evidence thing. It just came together. Those were opportunities where people brought them to us. Or was in our space.
Right.
So we had you in our space at that time, and it was just it was just timing. And I think we had built up at that time. We had built up so much grand energy that nothing could not happen right. Like we still on that float right now. Nothing could not happen. Nothing. It was like it's almost being. The energy is so strong that it's a must that people in the energy become a part of the energy.
Because you were just pouring and giving value, and just that same energy comes back to you. I like to say a good quote is, "You are what you attract."
Yes.
So if you're attracting and giving those that positive energy, and just coming from a place of pure love, you're gonna get that back.
Yes. I mean, it's almost. If I can move forward with it, it's almost to how we got Imagine on board, Imagine Theaters, Imagine Entertainment on board with us. Yeah. I'm not sure if you know, but
I still have my ticket. I gotta go. Go see my free movie. I appreciate that from the last event.
But they're building a theater in Detroit in 2020.
2020.
Yeah, I heard about that. Okay.
So it's an extraordinary thing, and that was one of her moves, and we kind of like 1 and 2, depending on what we got a 1 and 2. It's like she'll tap me in depending on where the conversation going. I'll tap her in depending on where the conversation going. But how that happened, literally how that happened, we were at the theater.
You gonna tell that story?
Yes, I'm gonna tell that story. And, she don't drink nothing.
Okay.
But off that sugar, oh yeah, she had one of them Slurpees. Oh my goodness, man, amped
7-Up, big gulp.
Amped up. I'm like, and she walking around and she sees this poster of the founder
of Paul Gans,
Paul Gans, right? And she tells
it was a cardboard cutout, a life-size cardboard cutout.
So she tells one of the employees to go get this guy. Right, wow. I'm like, she sound like me, right? So,
go get him.
Go this guy.
I want to meet him. Is he here?
I want to meet him. Where
I want to talk to him.
I want to talk to him right now. So he's he tries to blow her off. Well, we have this information email that you can send him. And she's like, I don't want that. Yeah. She wasn't being rude. She's like, I don't want that. She said, really, he's going to respond to me off of that. She said, nah. She said, go get me a manager. So the manager comes back. True story. Manager comes back and he's very nice. And she's like, well, I want to talk to this guy. He's like, well, he's just the founder, but there is another guy, the CEO now you can talk to. I'll send you. What she said? I'll send him your email. So she takes his phone, puts her email in the phone, right, and he sends it to the CEO.
Hmm.
We get an email 2 days later for a meeting with Imagine.
Wow.
Off of that.
Oh man.
Off of that.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Closed mouth don't get fed. You gotta just run in that opportunity.
and she crashed after that. Like she crashed, slept for 6 hours after that. So.
Well, it made a great story.
But those things are what we're intentional about. And again, as she stated about how different we are, I think that the reason we have the type of energy and the type of success we have is because we are all about the filmmaker. Like that is what we're here for. We're the platform.
Mm-hmm.
We consider ourselves a stage, and if you want to perform, get on the stage. You don't have to act; just get on the stage, and we'll provide the audience. We'll provide the lights, cameras, and action. Just get on the stage. If this is what you say you want to do, just do it.
I think for me, it's just the fact that I am truly a fan of the work that independent filmmakers are putting out.
No doubt.
in this area, because I would even say 10, 15 years ago, I didn't have this. Like I couldn't go to literally like over the summer, we were going to a film related event every single week. Every single week.
3 times a week at least.
And I'm going, again, like as a fan, like wow, it keeps me inspired. And so that's what I think drives me, pushes me, and makes me want to make sure that this festival is around now.
I mean, and I think that drove us to producing films. Zachary Cunningham.
Yes, sir.
He produced Little Church. He just got funded for his second film.
Yep, I saw that.
Shout
out to Zach Cunningham.
Zach Cunningham, phenomenally talented.
Come on. Then you got filmmakers off the cuff like Detonio, who's at 7 million views in less than a year for one of his short films, who's in production for another film. You got Jazar Ritchie and Rhodes on. And you got
I'm gonna say, don't get us started,
bro and sis Rocky and Janaea Black. You have a slew of talent. I mean, and you have
Moolah Films coming out with Birthday Behavior coming out soon, and
so it's just all of this talent that is in this city. You know, they're in pockets. I think I said this before. They're in pockets. I mean, a pair of jeans got pockets, right?
Yep.
Right. They pockets can roll together. Just take everything out and put it on the table. You know what I'm saying? Empty your pockets, put them on the table, and roll together collectively. This is what you got. So I think my whole passion with this whole industry is to bring people together and show them what can be done collectively. I can show you this. Like we have people coming to us. It's a true story. This is real business. Talking real business, talking big numbers. Collectively, though, they trying to do one film. One film don't do anything for a company like Sony. We give 1.5 away. He specifically told me this. We give $1.5 million away 10 times a day. We make that back on one movie in a day. So if we're funding films, we need a package of films. We need 10, 20 films. Bring us 10, 20 films. Excellent films. And I'm speaking on Brian Smiley, the VP from Sony.
Yep. Shout out to Brian.
Yeah, shout out to Brian. I mean, he came and dropped knowledge last
He did.
summer.
That was a great workshop. I want to commend you guys again for putting that together.
Thank you.
And again, that was through something we provided throughout the summer. We did a workshop at WC3, and that just came together. We got a phone call, and when I say we got a phone call, it was one of them phone calls like, "B, where right now?" And we were on the set of Little Church at that time.
Yeah.
We took a break for that meeting,
which Zachary Cunningham directed.
Yeah. So,
but so even though, like you said, the festival happens once a year, but in terms of doing things in the film community, we do that all year round.
All year round.
So,
I mean, just recently, what did we have recently? What was that? So many things. Inception Reception.
Yeah, the Fisher Building.
Yes. The Maker City is at the Maker City Collective Underground Artists Hub.
Yeah.
That was a collaboration we did with another festival, and that came out beautiful,
Okay.
So
And
we try to align ourselves with and do these things, like she said, on a monthly basis.
Okay. And what else do we have coming up as far as projects? Obviously, we have the annual Trinity coming up in August.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
When's the submission deadline for that?
June 1st. I got all the dates. You see how she's sitting there quiet?
Yeah, that ain't,
Yeah.
All right. Are any other events or things we should know about before then? Shout out.
There's a couple things. I think he said I can go ahead and talk about this at the YMCA. Should I talk about it?
I don't even know what you're talking. I don't know what you're getting ready to say.
The message that I sent to Jesse about Detroit film.
I guess so, sure.
Oh,
It's not a secret.
Detroit. It's a film festival sponsored by and brought to you by the YMCA. Friend of ourselves. We're on board with that. We're supporting that festival.
Okay, what's
It's
the name
called
of that festival?
Detroit Can Film.
Cam.
CAN Can Film.
Oh, Cam Film. Okay.
And it's a 10-second film festival.
Okay.
Ages 14 through 18.
10-second film for ages 14 through 18.
Yes, ages 14. Yeah, I think you can look that up on their website. It'll be held at the YMC Detroit.
I just had a Vine flashback. 10 seconds. Do it for the Vine. Do
10
it.
seconds.
That was 6 seconds.
And it's their
6.
first annual. And it's their first annual.
R.I.P. Vine.
But
Yeah.
I want to say also that so the Fearless Tribe of Fanatic Filmmakers received a matching grant through the Knight Foundation.
Okay. And which organization was that?
The Knight Foundation.
The organization that received the Knight?
That would be us.
Oh,
The Fearless Tribe. So for the project, so for the Fearless
Yeah.
Tribe of Fanatic Filmmakers, that was an initiative that received, a matching grant. And I'm saying that for a reason.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
We need that matching.
I'm saying that for a reason. So with matching, so that we can do this, work with the tribe all year round. Through the Miami Foundation is our fiduciary, and so people can donate to the Fearless Tribe through the Miami Foundation.
Okay, yeah, put that in the notes as well.
Tax deductible.
Tax deductible donations. Love it.
You don't have to stop. You can continue to donate to that process.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, and shout out to Jody Luster. I know she does a little bit of film grant writing work, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
That sort of team. And if anybody has any questions about, if they have similar initiatives or they want to partner with you or maybe get access to this information that if there's grants that they may be eligible for or may be in alignment, would they reach out to you or Jody, or if they want to get more info, how would they go about that?
Well, you can reach out with us, and mainly all through our social media platforms. But our email address is Trinity International Film Fest.
Okay.
At gmail.com.
Actually, it's Trinity Film Fest.
Trinity Film Fest. See, that's why he has all the technical
Trinity
information.
Film Fest at gmail.com.
Trinity Film Fest at gmail.com.
Trinity Film Fest
All
at
right.
gmail.com.
Let's go.
But
Okay.
absolutely, you can reach out to us, and hopefully we'll stay connected.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, as we wrap up here, this last question is kind of a two-parter, and of course, Nadia, you could chime in on this as well.
Okay.
It's like a two-parter question, so I'll read it over again in case I say too much. Tell me a little bit about what legacy means to you and how you want your legacy to get remembered, and what would be 3 key takeaways for our audience. So when they're listening to this episode, it could even be the title, 3 keys to film success or whatever it is. So just tell us a little bit about what legacy means to you, and then just 3 key takeaways for success for our listeners about, pursuing your path. Two-parter. Yeah.
Well, you got to repeat the second part.
Okay, yeah. So, yep.
It's been up since yesterday. So.
All right.
Well, legacy means to me, in one piece, is that when I don't value success with money. It's more about family and love and your value and what you have created and for the world and what your purpose is. I believe my purpose is bridging. And what I mean by that is getting people to believe beyond what someone else is telling them, getting people to believe in themselves just as much as I believe in the person or in myself. I believe that for me is not saying mama I made it, but I've changed. I made a change somewhere and I made a difference. My goal is to make a difference every day or change someone's thinking from negative to positive. And just be intentional about it. My wife said this to me about 2 years ago. She said, what is the intention of your attention? And my intention is to to provide something positive and useful and inspiring for someone every day.
Yeah, I got that from Oprah. Got that from Oprah.
Everybody
It's
got it
dope,
from someone.
though.
Oprah got it from someone else. So Shout out to
I
Oprah.
like how it came
Yeah.
across, and it gave me something to think about.
yeah, still from the best with pride.
Yes.
Yeah. And Marshall, legacy to you.
You can't just say ditto here because he did say a lot of things that I agreed with, and but for me, it goes back to your God-given purpose and being able to recognize what your talents and gifts are, and being able to not sit on them, but legacy is what you leave behind, and in giving of your talents and gifts to this world in the way, and being purposeful about doing that. What was the second part of the question in terms of three things? Didn't you ask?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get right. That'll be the
Yeah.
very last one. Nadi, what's your talk? What's your take on legacy? And then we'll wrap it up.
Legacy.
Legacy.
Yeah,
Legacy,
shout out to
legacy.
Jay-Z. Right, love that song. That's a deep one. I'd say legacy is simply family. What you leave behind when you're not here, it's important. And like Lazar said, it's not about money. Obviously, it's important, that you leave some monetary value behind, for your legacy, your children, your niece, your nephews, your brother, sisters, whatever you have, whatever family that and even friends, that we consider our family. I don't even have friends; I have family. So that's what legacy means to me, is family and love.
Awesome. Okay, so as we wrap up here, starting with you, Lazar, what are and who wants to who wants to close it out? I could make it. We'll start with you, Nadia. Let's say, we'll go back this way. So, what would you say are your 3 keys to success? So, based upon where is someone listening, like, I want to be where she's at, I want to be where she's going. What are 3 basic keys you'd like to just give out of knowledge or, tips?
Okay. First and foremost, be uniquely you. You said that's going to be a hot line right there. But be uniquely you. Create every day. And always have positive energy inside and out around you, in your space, your elements. Yep. So be uniquely you, create every day, and always have that positive energy flowing around you. That's important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marshall?
Prayer works.
Amen.
So
Prayer, that's one.
yes. To really trust your own instincts as well too, to never to be self-doubting, never be self-doubting. Trust your intuition, your instincts, and really listen to what the universe is telling you for what the purpose of your life is. And always love one another.
Right.
To be a loving person.
What's the question?
Oh, this is the last one. Just what are 3 keys? I can't talk today. 3 keys to success, or 3 words of advice you'd recommend. As far as getting where you're at or getting where you want to go.
I think for me, being fearless at anything you decide to do. Go at it as if you already done it. And only be kind at all times to anyone. It doesn't even, homeless, it doesn't matter. The opposite, it doesn't matter. And that kindness will always surround you and come back to you. And just work. I can't say work hard because work is not hard. Just keep working at it. Whatever it is, it's like, I'll say this, one of the greatest, and you might, I'm not sure how you feel about this. One of the greatest basketball players in the world is Michael Jordan. And although he was that great, he never stopped practicing.
Yeah.
He never stopped exercising.
Yeah.
He even though he knew he was, whether he knew it or believed it, he knew he was going to win that day. He still went to practice. He still swam every single day. He still worked at it every single day. He still shot threes. He still did the turnaround. He still dunked every single day in practice. So keep doing that. Keep feeding whatever your talent is every single day.
And surround yourself with people who can help you build upon that.
Indeed.
Awesome. Well, we had it. You guys heard it here first. Lazar and Marshall Favors, along with our special guest Nadia. Thanks for coming
Nadia
out as
Stringer.
well.
Nadia
Nadia Stringer.
Yes, thank you
awesome.
for having me.
Yep. And other than that,
And the Fearless Tribe, I'm sorry.
Yep, in the Fearless Tribe.
Fearless.
It's Career Pulse Podcast, Season 3. We're out. All right, Career Pulse Podcast community, that's a wrap on our interview with Lazar and Marshall Favors. Great takeaways. I remember Marshall was just mentioning about, and Lazar were mentioning about the 3 pillars they focus on: fashion, film, and music. How to always, do little things and reminders, like keep a calendar. Remember to laugh every day. I love how he has this little mantra, Monday's magnificent. Michelle had a really good recommended book read, The Alchemist. I've been told to read that a million times. I definitely need to get on that. And also just remembering little things to grow every day, like, meditation, which is really a big key, as well as a few things that Nadia mentioned about being uniquely you and learning not to, always go one day at a time. And other than that, guys, look up more episodes we got coming up on the Career Pulse Podcast. Season 3 has commenced. And once again, come hit us up. And that's what we're here for. Season 3, Career Pulse Podcast, out.